George Russell claimed dominant pole position for Mercedes at the season-opening Australian Grand Prix as his teammate Kimi Antonelli completed a front-row lockout for the Silver Arrows. Having unleashed pace earlier on Saturday in final practice, many suspected Mercedes had been holding back. Russell was in a class of his own, finishing almost 3/10 clear of Antonelli, with Hadjar a further half a second back in an impressive Red Bull debut. The Italian teenager's participation in the session had been in major doubt after his huge crash in final practice, but Mercedes repaired the car just in time for him to get back on track in the closing stage of Q1. He avoided a grid penalty, but Mercedes were fined $6,500 for releasing their car in unsafe condition during Q3. They appeared to forget to remove cooling devices from his car, which then fell on track and hit Lando Norris. Russell said it was a great day. We knew there was potential in the car, but until we get to the first Saturday of the season, you'll never know where it's really going to come alive. As the track temperature's cool, we tend to favour these conditions. Also really happy to have Kimi here because he's had such a hard job from the team to deliver this car. He did an amazing job in the garage as well. The car is just mighty. It feels like the Mercedes of the good old days. I was quite relieved when I drove it for the first time. Mercedes cause in repairing Antonelli's car after the shunt in practice was aided in Q1 by delaying Max Verstappen triggering a red flag as he crashed out of the first part, leaving the full-time world champion 20th on the grid. Verstappen later confirmed that he had been cleared to race after undergoing x-rays on his wrists during the crash. I'm all good, he said. I've just had to get some x-rays done to see if my hands were okay, but nothing was broken. There was at least consolation for Red Bull with Hadjar edging out Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, while Lewis Hamilton had to settle for 7th as the impressive one-lap pace from the Italian squad had shown earlier in the weekend slipped away when it mattered. The Ferraris were split by McLaren's duo, Oscar Piastri and Norris, with the reigning world champion behind his teammate after struggling with deployment issues during the session. Racing Bulls were the best of the rest behind the Big 14, with Liam Lawson and British rookie Arvid Lindblad coming 8th and 9th ahead of Gabriel Borsetto, who couldn't compete in Q3, breaking down at the end of Q2. There was minor respite for Aston Martin amid their nightmare start to the season, with Fernando Alonso at least finishing 17th ahead of Cadillac. Alonso's teammate Lance Stroll was unable to participate due to power unit issues, while Sainz also failed to feature. Hulkenberg's taking 11th behind his teammate Bortoletti suggests Audi with Racing Bulls are starting the season as the front of the midfield, which is impressive for the German outfit, having obviously making their own engines for the first time. But the extended pre-season follows a major regulation change that seen the sports Big 14s each talk out the pace of their rivals, but there was always remained a consensus that Mercedes would be hard to beat. Much of the confidence was found in the way they won 8 consecutive constructors titles from 2014, but showings from Ferrari and Red Bull had created some doubt. That was heightened when they set the pace in FP1, but Mercedes on long run pace had always looked ominous. And then in the closing stages, Mercedes finally showed their strength, romping clear, although the display of strength was somewhat overshadowed by Antonelli crashing heavily into the barrier. A messy day for Antonelli was in fact the only reason the front row lockout was in any doubt, with him going into the gravel and qualifying, and the team facing separate investigations for pit lane gas. While it appears Mercedes have a pace advantage at Albert Park, we'll have to see whether it continues at the other circuits, and there's likely to be different temperatures obviously in pit stops tomorrow, which could lead to question marks, but Mercedes definitely go into it as strong favourites. And before I go, let me run you down the qualifying results. Russell and Anthony on pole. That Mercedes is a monster. It's kind of what we expected, but to see it there, it's kind of terrifying for the other teams, isn't it? But Hadjar third, I think that's a really, really good first effort from him. He'll be delighted with that. Leclerc will be disappointed. Just didn't really have the pace. It fell away from both Ferrari drivers at the end. I think they'll be bitterly disappointed with that. Norris and Piastri 5th and 6th. The McLaren just kind of looked a bit anomalous all weekend. So to get ahead of Hamilton, I think they'll be pretty happy. Lawson and Lindblad, fair play to RB, they look like the class in the midfield, but Lindblad, I think, will be maybe even disappointed to qualify behind Lawson. He's shown the pace all weekend. Bortoletti will be disappointed not to qualify in Q3, but I think Audi definitely would have taken 10th, 11th. That's really good from them. Haas 12th and 13th. I think they'll be pretty happy with that. Maybe slightly disappointed not to be a few places higher, but not bad. The Alpines will probably be disappointed. I had high hopes for them after pre-season, but just didn't really show it here. Same for Williams. I think that's delayed starts testing is really starting to cost them, isn't it? Obviously, bitterly disappointing for Sainz not to get out, and Stroll, although that was more expected. The Cadillacs at the back, as we expected, disappointing for them. And for Max Verstappen, of course, who was wiped out with that crash. Whether it's driver error or not, who knows? But I think very, very disappointing, and he'll have a lot of work to do to kind of make it up tomorrow.
Hey guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily F1 news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.